Howdy, folks. Welcome to Mental Health Monday. My name is Kenneth Thomas, and today we're going to be talking about depression and surviving the holidays. Um, this is something that a lot of people I know deal with. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give Facebook permission to share your info with StreamYard. That way you'll be able to comment and join in on the discussion. So, what are we talking about today? Mental health in the holidays. I don't know how many people um, deal with this. I know I do. Um, the holidays are a real difficult time for me. I've been dealing with a lot of depression, and it starts at the beginning of November and it just gets worse along the way it goes all the way um through all the way through the holidays. And um the holidays were always a really big deal for me when I was growing up. Um Family would get together depending upon where we happened to be stationed at the time, you know, because when we were on the West Coast, we were kind of far away from all family. So um we would we had special things that we did when we were living on the West Coast. I know when we lived in California, for Thanksgiving, we would actually do Thanksgiving down in Disneyland, and that was kind of awesome. But when we lived up in the Milwaukee area, we would do the big holidays with my dad's side of the family down in Rockford, Illinois. And when we lived down in Corpus Christi, which is where my mom was from, um, we'd get together at her parents' house, and it was always both on in both cases. There was huge family gatherings, lots of family, lots of food, lots of good times. The same thing would happen again on Christmas, and those are awesome memories, and I cherish them. But the thing is that a lot of the people that made those memories what they were aren't here anymore for me. They have passed on. My grandparents, uh, both my mother and father, and my youngest brother. Um, and that makes the holidays a very, very difficult time for me, because the people that made the holidays matter to me. So many of them aren't here anymore. And it's been very hard for me to try to start doing new traditions with my family, because I just, it, I get into a black hole around this time of year. Um, and it's been really, really difficult. Um, there's a lot of people that deal with suicidal thoughts. And if you're someone who is dealing with that, please reach out for help. I'll talk more about that later. Um, but it being separated from your family can be very difficult. I learned that as a soldier. I knew that as a military brat growing up, because there was a lot of holidays when my dad wasn't around because he was deployed with the Navy. Um, there there's a lot of times when we were deployed overseas, missing the family big time at these big holidays, because they were always a huge part of my family. Um, Loved the care packages that I would get. That really helped. But another thing that really helped was uh, my first chief of section, which for those of you who are not part of the field artillery, be like a squad leader. Um, Sergeant Waddell. he had a rule. He didn't really care when we went to eat or who we went to eat with, most of the time. But when it came to the holiday meals, he always enforced that we went together as a crew because we're not with our normal family. We're with our army family. And that was who our family was at that time. And we were going to have those meals together, period. Um, so that really helped. That was another thing that was awesome. Uh, and it was something I started doing with my soldiers, and a lot of them didn't really seem to understand it at the time. I didn't get it at the time. Um, I did later, which is why I enforced it with my soldiers as well. But the thing was, is that that was who we had as a family, and with the army, the family that you're with on one holiday, um, often isn't the family you're going to be with on the next holiday. Um, and then there were, fellow soldiers, comrades that we lost around the holidays, and that would make the holidays that much funnier, or not funny, that much harder. But there are also funny memories. I don't remember exactly which holiday it was, but I remember they did the big fancy feasting thing where we had crab legs and lobster tails and steak, and we had all kinds of stuff. Um, and I'll never forget it because we this was when I was in Afghanistan. The base came under an attack, and we were our dining facility wasn't a hardened facility; it was a tent. So as soon as they were up on the mountains shooting down on the base, they could rip right through the tent, and a lot of times the rounds did. And so we'd have to scamper out of there to get to the bunkers and stuff right next to where we could get some protection between us and the direction of fire. And I will never forget, and I don't even remember his name. He was the brigade sergeant major. Um, or he was the infantry battalion sergeant major for the infantry that was at the post we were at. But we ended up scampering out. Everybody else ran off to the talk, the people that had to do that. And the rest of us are just sitting there hiding out behind these concrete walls and sandbags and bunkers and stuff. And the sergeant major walked out carrying his tray. Okay. And he had his steak, his crab legs, and everything else on it because he was going to eat his food. He didn't have anything to do until the attack was over. His job came in after that fact when they were doing the reports and getting through, make sure everything was okay and everything else. But he walked out, and he's standing there leaning up against this big tall concrete wall, eating his food. He wasn't gonna. He did not give an F. Okay, and he'd peek around, the wall down toward where he could see people that were running back and forth. And apparently one time he looked around the wall, there was some guy that was just lollygagging down around through this big open area where he totally could be coming under fire because we'd seen the bullets hitting in on that area. And he's got a crab leg in his hand, and he leans around the wall and then starts shaking the crab leg. You need to get the back out of there. What are you doing? Get moving. And it's just one of those things that is one of those moments that is so totally absurd. I mean, you're in a war zone, you're trying to have a holiday meal, bullets are flying around, and here's this guy shaking a crab leg at people, yelling at them to get the heck out of the open. It's memories like that I have to hold on to because the other memories really crowd in that depression. So I have to find those happy memories or those absurd memories to keep myself from spiraling. Now, I know a lot of people feel a lot of financial stress during this time because let's face it, the costs of everything is going up. So trying to do what you want for your family, buying the gifts that you want and being able to do the things that you want for your family can be really, really difficult. And that can really stress people out, and it can really depress people when they can't fulfill the expectations they have for themselves for what they want to be able to do. Some people don't get along with their family. There's always family drama and the stress of having, you're going and oh my God, I'm gonna have to deal with this and that kind of stress that can get to you too. You know, there's just so many aspects of things that can bring stress to the holidays that aren't needed because that's not what the holidays are about. Um, there are people who find themselves alone during the holidays, and let me tell you, that is one of the worst times. You look at everywhere you look, there's celebrations of togetherness, people that matter to each other, people that are giving gifts to each other, all this kind of thing going on. And if you don't you don't feel you have that kind of thing in your life, you can feel even more isolated than you normally do. And that can be very, very hard. Um, there's the memory of loved ones that we've lost, the people that we used to share the holidays with, or maybe somebody that you lost around the holidays that makes the holidays that much harder for you. There are just so many different things that can be triggers to stress, to depression, to all these things that impact your mental health. The most important thing to do is to remember that the people matter and that you matter. Okay. Reach out to the people that matter to you. It doesn't matter if you can buy them the things that you want and everything. One of the things I always thought was the most absurd thing is you see all these people on these commercials. You'll see all these commercials from Lexus and all these other luxury car brands. What are they giving their loved one for the holidays? They're giving them a brand new car. Hello. I always wondered about this because you know what? I don't know many people that can afford to give a brand new car as a holiday gift. I know some, but I also know that the people that can afford to do that kind of stuff don't typically do that kind of thing. Okay, so I think it's kind of crazy. You see all these ads going, give a car for Christmas. Don't let all that kind of stuff stress you out. I mean, if you can't buy your loved ones a car, they don't care. If you write them a letter, actually handwrite a letter to your loved ones and send that to them, if that's all you can manage to do, that kind of thing matters more in the long run than all kinds of extravagant and expensive gifts, because your thoughts and your words will be there after you're gone, and it can be something that brings them joy and it brings them a smile to their face. It brings peace to them in a time when it can be very difficult. So it doesn't have to be anything big. Do something for the people that you love because that's what's going to matter in the long run. Now, if you're someone who's dealing with issues of depression and suicide and that kind of thing during the holidays, reach out to the people in your life. Okay? You need to reach out to others because when you feel that isolated and that alone and you don't try to reach out to anybody, it gets harder and harder and harder to actually reach out. My throat's getting tight. I feel like I'm on the verge of a complete breakdown here. But reach out because you matter. You may not feel like you matter to anybody, but I promise you, you do. You will be missed if you're not there. And if someone reaches out to you saying that they need help because they're in this deep dark place, be there for them. And if you don't feel like you have anybody that you can reach out to, all you got to do is pick up a phone and dial 988 988. We'll get you to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. There are people that will talk to you, that will help you get the help you need. The holidays don't need more stress, and they don't need more things to take away from the joy that they are meant to be. So find that joy. You may have to work at it. You may have to really dig down to find that joy, because sometimes you can find yourself in just a deep dark hole. But I promise you, if you look for the things that bring joy to you, you can find them. And if you reach out to the people that matter to you, they will be there. And if the people that you're reaching out for aren't there for you, they really aren't your people. And you just need to find them. This is one of those emotional subjects that I can sit and babble on about, because of all the different things that I've dealt with around the holidays. But the simple fact is that my goal is just to be here for my kids and my wife and my brother, my nephews and nieces, and for my fellow soldiers, because sometimes the best gift that you can give to anyone is to be there for them when they need you most. All right, if you're catching this on Facebook, please follow. That way you'll know when I'm going live on the kwhamas.photography on Facebook. If you're catching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And until the next time I talk to you guys, remember that you matter. And remember that the world will be a dimmer place if you're not in it. So until next time, folks, peace, love, and photography. And remember, everything can make a beautiful image, including you. Have a great afternoon. Bye.